Hi, this is Terry from Sweet Pea Papers in the Sweet Pea Papers Facebook group, and today is another Saturday, and so we're continuing in our series on how to use your free papers that you get from Tanya at Tatty Treasure when you sign up at her Patreon page. Now, in the first little intro, we went through the papers. The second part, we went through making this, and we watched me cut some papers wrong. And so we didn't get too far, but what I wanted to show you were some changes that I had to make. This, when I closed it with the pocket here, it bubbled way out because of the way it was glued. So I pulled it apart and I made another page out of it. Now yours is not going to look like this, but you will have a pocket glued like this. Okay, with a pocket on the side. Now, I went ahead and did the papering so we wouldn't have to watch that torture. And so then we've got this, and then remember we have our flip down that we put on. And so that's going to go like that. And we're not going to get all the cards put in, all the writing cards. We're just going to make the base. And then I didn't cover the back because I was going to put a closure that tied. But then I thought, well, maybe I'll put a circle and brad closure, and then I realized I had already papered this. Oh, it's stuck back. Oh no, papered this. So I was able to pull the paper up. Uh-oh, it's stuck back down. I was able to pull the paper up this far, and that should be far enough for my circle closure with the brad to go on here and the brad be under the paper. Otherwise, it's not the end of the world. You just put a circle over the brad. It's no big deal. But I wanted mine to be under the paper. So let's start there. My paper's getting in the way. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to cut the paper for this. And what I did was I printed out this collage page from the pages. Now remember, when you sign up, you get over 600 pages, or 600 images, and it's a lot. That includes the fussy cuts and the ephemera. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut this for the front, but we're not going to glue it down yet. Well, actually we are. I lied. So we're going to cut this, and I want to cut it on the bird side, or do I? Because then the circle's going to be right through his little bottom. That'll be alright. Alright, so we're going to cut this, and remember we're staying below our tabs in this particular project. So we're going to go this wide, and we're going to go this tall. And then this will give me the scrap to cut the circle out of. I got over here and couldn't see my line. It just seemed awful wide. And I think we'll probably cut the circle out of this green. Or hold everything. We've got a flower right there. So let's take our circle punch while we've got it out in front of us. Well, goodness. We're going to cut two 1-inch circles and glue them together, which I forgot to do. It won't take very long for it to dry. As long as you don't smear it with a bunch of glue, it's not going to go anywhere, so you don't have to douse it. Okay, so you're just going to line them up and let it sit there to dry for a second. Then we're going to cut the rows out. Nice. Let's go ahead and glue that on. And we're probably going to go to next Saturday. I didn't mean to make this a big project, but it kind of turned into one. So that'll be 3 Saturdays instead of 2. I'll give you something to do on Saturday. So glue that on, and then don't forget to ink it. You have to be careful if you're not going to let the glue dry before you do this. You don't want it to slide around. Okay, and we'll just let that sit right there. Okay, we won't need this for right now. Here's a nice card. Okay, let's get this inked. Let's double check the size. Okay. Forgot to take my bracelet off. If it starts clanking around, I'll have to move it up on my arm. So put the glue on here. You want to glue this down first. This bracelet is kind of stretching down longer because I got it wet and then the leather kind of stretched. I'm going to put your birds right side up. Glue that down. Then we want to decide where we want to put this. Just ignore this for right now. I found a scrap that would fit in our tall pocket, so I stuck it in there so I wouldn't lose it. And then we're going to knot through this. See if I can do this. Without folding it. Circle it like that. I think I want to put it right about there. I want to put it far enough in so that our circle doesn't stick out over the edge. Okay. I forgot I want to make it the smaller hole. And we'll get out a brad. And put it through here. Put this through here. And then open the brad. Okay, now we can glue this paper back. Now you won't have to do any of this because you'll have a pocket. So for your closure, you will glue a piece of string or bookbinding thread to the front of your book right here before you paper it and leave it long enough to tie. Then you'll do the same thing on the back and leave it long enough to tie, and then you'll be able to tie it together. Okay, I'm going to turn this around so my rose is facing up. It probably won't stay that way, but okay, so we've got that. Now on this page I wanted to leave some writing area, but our paper is a little dark for that. So we're going to stencil a piece of cream colored paper and put it on there to make a writing area, but not just a blank cream colored page. And we're putting this paper down too so that we have the border. And again, this is going to be inside your pocket, so you won't need to do this unless you start over, which I almost had to. What I did was, this was the pocket, and I just reached in with my scissors and cut along this way where the fold was, and then opened it up and trimmed it off straight. So that's what I did. Now this one's going to be shorter because the notch is here. Okay. You can see right here it's a little crooked. But it also helps you make adjustments and fix your mistakes. Okay, let's ink this. You can also take a stamp and make lines. I have one of those. I got it on an auction on Whatnot. WHATNOT, like Whatnots that you have laying around your house. So they have different craft auctions and all kinds of auctions actually. And you just find something you're interested in, like crafting or arts and crafts or junk journaling or whatever. And then you find the auction that auctions off things that you're interested in that topic. Oh, for goodness sake. There we go. I don't know how I'm going to make it any smaller. I know I could have stretched it, but I don't want to stretch it. That's what I did, and didn't mean to. It doesn't bother me to wear it. In fact, it doesn't weigh anything, so I don't really notice it except for the piece in the middle. But it does kind of clang bang around on the glass surface. Okay. Make sure you're putting your ink side up. And this has branches that go like this, so you're going to want to put it right side up. Of course, we're going to cover most of it, but now we're going to take this cream colored piece of cardstock, excuse me, and we're going to make a smaller piece. Let's see if this is going to work. Yeah, I think it will. Let's make sure it fits and it isn't crooked or anything. Okay. And then we'll ink the edges. This is still going to pop open. I'm inking this a little bit more than I did the rest of the pages. Then I'm going to take my stencil and I'm going to stencil right in the middle of this. Since I'm doing this at an angle, I'm going to paper clip it down so it doesn't move. And I'm just going to get out my brush, go over it real quick. And you can get fancy with it. You can do the leaves green and the stems brown and of stuff. I just want kind of like a watermark. You have to be careful with the vintage photo. You can leave a mark where you first put your brush down, just like you can with your stamps. I mean your inking tool. So we'll get this done. And then we'll get it glued on. And you can go back and ink the inside edges or whatever of the plant a little bit darker to do some shading. But we just wanted this. And there's a few little spots that are a little bit darker, and that gives it some dimension, so it isn't just all completely the same. So then all we have to do is glue this down. This is why when you've got your little fuzzies falling off of your ink tool, that you might want to replace the pad part, because wherever the little pieces of foam fall off, they do have ink on them. So just a little side note. I'm going to put this on here. I'm not talking very much today. It's funny, normally you would think that I couldn't be quiet for very long. I'm one of those people. And then you can write on it. Or you can just look at the image. Either way. Okay? So then we've got this like that. And then we've got the back to cover. I left this one because I thought I was going to do the closure differently. And so I thought, well, I better not do this one, put the tie on it, without doing it on camera. And then right in midstream, I decided to change it. I've made several mistakes. I have quite a bit of scrap paper. I mean, like a big pile of it. I don't know what my problem was with cutting paper yesterday. I finally gave it a rest and waited until today to start doing it again. I was getting very frustrated. I was printing out a bunch of pages, running out of ink, and that's saying something when you have an eco tank. I always seem to have a low ink level on my yellow because we print so much brown. And then the magenta comes right in close behind. Sort of like in 76 trombones. Anyway, so I was printing papers, and I was cutting papers, and then I was cutting papers crooked. Then I was cutting papers crooked on camera. It was really quite sad. This looks like one of those heartbeat lines when you're in the hospital on that machine. Was that an EKG? Okay, now I want my words to face to the right, so the left, this is the way you would read it, and so then I would turn it like this. That's me. It doesn't matter to you. You can put it on any old way. Now I'm going to leave this one flat, but you could put a nice expandable pocket with a flap on it on the back easily. Now, on this page, hadn't really planned ahead, you would have thought. I'm wondering, do I want to make a pocket, or do I want... Yeah, this is just going to be something simple so that you can, it was mainly so you could see the construction. Not necessarily, you know, decorate it all up. But we'll take this and we'll put it in the pocket. And it'll look like we had it all planned out. Which way's our pocket gonna go? It's gonna go this way, so that this darker is on the outside corner, so we don't want to glue that. Some of these are not going to have been printed on the front and the back because I was just printing them out to use them, and I knew that I wasn't going to use them as writing cards, and then of course I promptly forgot that we're going to have a whole third of a page for each one left over that we could have used. And so that's what's going to happen with this one. The back is going to be white. Normally I wouldn't do that, but you can back it with a piece of this cream colored paper, which is probably what I would do. And then maybe stencil it. If I'm going to back it with cream colored paper, I'm not going to round it yet. Okay? I'm just going to ink it and put it in the pocket. And then there's tags. There's lots of tags that come with your freebies that you can put in. Okay. And you can make more as well. If you're like me and you made mistakes, you have a scrap pile like this. Alright, so we've got a pocket and a writing page. And then we've got other pages that I have no idea what we're going to do with them. I know on this one, we're going to put a belly band. Now, are we going to put a clear one? I think so. I think we'll put a clear one on. So we'll get out our acetate. Now, this is overhead projector 5 mil, which is better than the 3 mil because it's thicker. I still wouldn't have minded having it just a little bit thicker. I happen to have some, but it was from like a photo album or something, so of course it was going to be thicker. So we're just going to mark how long we want it, because we'll then cut it however many inches wide we want it. Which I'm thinking two would be good. My shim is not stuck on anything, so it isn't shimming it up. Isn't help making this level. Got moved. Everything got moved. I'm going to cut the 2-inch width first. Okay, then we'll... Oh, then I measured the height already. Duh. Then this gives you the ability, if you were doing lace or something like that, to put lace right on top of it. And then it would look like the lace was just floating there without anything, you know, another piece of paper holding it down. The thicker the acetate, the easier you can see it to put glue on it as well. And that's saying something on this glass surface. The thicker it is, the easier it is to glue on as well, without leaving a mark. So we'll glue that on there. You want to make sure it goes just to the edge of the paper because you don't want it to bind up and keep you from being able to close that. Now we don't want to put anything thick over here because we want our magnet to stick. So I'm thinking excuse me, thinking and drinking. Maybe we'll put a side tuck over here. That will give us another pocket. It's going to cut the flower in half. If I do it, I can measure it this way and then flip it back over. Okay, we'll put this here. Wow, there's a guy outside using one of those concrete drilling tools. So that's nice. I hope you can't hear it. It is showing up on the meter. Okay, now I'm wondering if we could do something with this and make a little tuck. And I'm thinking there's no flowers on it. That would be alright if we cut it right below. We wouldn't have half of a flower. Let's ink this and put it on. Now we want this to look a little scruffy in the corner. So that it looks sort of like the rest of them in the corner. I mean, we're not trying to be Picasso or anything. We're just trying to see how this is a little bit. We're just trying to match that up a little bit. Okay. So then we'll put this long one here. Okay. Then we'll take this smaller piece. There's a rose right there. And we can put it down here so it doesn't cover our rose up there. But then it would cover our rose there. I'm wondering, what if I yeah, I think I'm going to. That looks like it's going to be a little too thick. You'll be able to see it, whereas this one now I've gotten them confused. These are definitely thicker. So So we want it as wide as this pocket. And then once we cut that off, then we can cut it to however wide we want. Or tall, I guess. That little red mark on there, I don't want to cut it too thin, which I think I just cut it crooked. So yeah, we'll make it out of the top. That noise is really quite annoying. Yep, that's the way it goes. So that means I want to put the glue on this side. And this side. And then kind of wipe it off, make sure there's nothing underneath. And then I'm going to put it down here just because I want to be different. But there's a little bit of a discoloration because this is thicker, so we don't want that to be where the there we go, where the rose is, or this one either. And so now we have a belly band here, and we have a belly band here. We can put a giant writing card here. We can put a bookmark here, and we've got a pocket to put something in here. We've got our writing area here and another pocket over here. And then we have these two pieces left. That's the back. We've got the flip up. So we've got 3 pieces left in this large card. So let's look at this. See what we've got. 1, 2, and something lighter to go in between, which is 3. All right, so we're going to put this one in the middle, like so. We want them to all be the same size. You know, we could leave this bottom one bigger though. We could do one more pocket. Then it would be all right to leave this big one on the bottom. I was just thinking that this one would look better in the middle because of the color. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, now we just want to put glue on either side. So I'm going to make a little mark. Then we'll put glue from there down. Normally, only the sides. Normally we would stuff these pockets full. But since we're using this sort of a traveler's notebook size, then we're not going to want to make it super thick. Looks like it's off by just a little bit. Okay. Then we'll put the other one below it. Oops. We can always make the bottom one narrower, which is what I think we'll do. That way we can move the whole thing down farther. I'm going to mark this. I'm going to mark this. And you know what I didn't do? I didn't ink that. You guys yelling at me? Ink, ink, ink. That's why I like Fabri-Tac. It gives you a mistake grace period. So this was our top one. I can see where the glue was. Instead of calling this a folio, we'll just call it a mistake. Since I keep making mistakes. this to the sides, right below the rose. After we ink it. Oh, I already marked it. And then when you get ephemera out of your kit or your freebies, then you can put, there's some roses. I want the plant to go that way. And then I had made a mark. Oops. That's crooked. And then we'll just take this, we'll just glue it down the sides and across the bottom, and then that'll give us our top pocket going all the way down. Sorry about my phone. Oh, good grief. Hadn't made any noise at all for the longest time. Yeah, this looks off. This is crooked, and this is too narrow. So I'll redo this off camera. This one's too narrow. Uh-oh. Looks like it's just going to keep going, doesn't it? Alright, so I'll redo this off camera, but you know what we're going to do right here. That's embarrassing. But it was what I get for cutting all three at once, probably. And then we just need to figure out something to do here, something to do here, and cut the card for up here. So that's what we'll do next time. We'll finish it up, and then you can put your own, maybe I'll make some writing cards ahead of time to fit, you know, the places that we're going to put. I will have redone this out of our scraps, and then we will have our stacked pocket here, and then we will be good to go. Okay? Alright, well, I'll see you in the next video, and that will be just a second for you and a day for me. Okay, bye-bye.